Hello, beautiful collective. It is Satya back again with another message, another video. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope that you are getting prepared and ready for this full moon. It's a great time to get out and charge up some full moon water, recharge your crystals, spend some time in the full moon, think about things and how they've come to fruition, and just in general, take advantage of this wonderful energy. I wanted to come to you today to do a full fire moon message. The full moon is coming up in Sagittarius, and so we've got the moon oracle cards here, and we're going to do a little explanation of the energies involved. Before we get started, I do want to remind you to stop by my Etsy shop. I've got a 20% off discount code in the description box, below. And to follow me on Instagram. I go by the same name on Instagram, Satya Drashta Esoterica. So follow me there and you'll be able to see a couple of other things that I'm doing. And don't forget to like this video. So, again, we've got a full fire moon in Sagittarius. So the full fire moon, of course, the moon being an energy of perception, emotions, expression, really being about that deep nurturing place in our soul. The moon is a feminine planet. It gives off feminine energy. It speaks to hidden emotions, hidden feelings, hidden thoughts. So when we're talking about the moon, oftentimes we might be talking about energies or things that are even hidden from ourselves. The time that we spend, whether it's in the new moon or a full moon, is very deep and connected to our soul and our home. This full moon is going to be in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the Sagittarius is the sign of the ruling planet Jupiter. So it's very much about expansion, growth. It's very much about looking at things from a bigger perspective, a broader perspective. It's also about speaking your truth. So one of the things that I thought was interesting as I was getting ready for this video, I was making my notes, and the story of the emperor's new clothes was linked to Sagittarius. And if you know that story, it's about these two shady merchants that come into town, and they're total scam artists, but they convince the king that they have these beautiful new clothes that are magic, and only people of high quality and intelligence can see them. And so, of course, the king and his courtiers do not want to admit that they cannot see the clothes, because that would mean they're not intelligent and they're not of high quality. So they scam the king and get all this money and give him nothing, right? Because they don't have any clothes. And nobody tells the king that he's completely naked. The king puts on his clothes and goes out into the town for a parade, and everybody is just applauding and cheering and telling the king how wonderful he looks, because they, of course, don't want to be seen as low quality and unintelligent. Finally, a young boy in the crowd shouts out, "The emperor's naked," right? And he was the one to break that spell. He was the one to speak the truth and break the spell that everybody else was under. And that really is the energy of Sagittarius. Looking at things from a larger perspective, seeing the truth and speaking that truth. You can think of the energy of Sagittarius as kind of being on the ground and being able to see only so far. Then you climb a tree and you're able to see things from a higher perspective. Then you climb a mountain and you're able to see things from an even larger perspective. And then you get into a rocket and you blast off into, the universe, and you're able to see the whole world from a larger perspective, right? So it really is about that, taking a bigger view so you can see more of what is and speak the truth with this new gained perspective. Of course, Sagittarius being Jupiter energy, this is the ruling planet of Sagittarius, so that expansive, abundant, learning, perspective energy is where Sagittarius gets it, right? Jupiter wants us to look at the bigger picture. Jupiter is the ruler of all gods. Jupiter is Zeus. He has the larger view. He has the view from beginning to end of time. You can see the larger picture. And so the moves that Jupiter makes are based on sometimes, well, many times, a lot of things that you might not be able to see if you don't look at the bigger picture. You get caught up in the details and you make choices based on what looks to be correct and for the moment may be correct. But in the larger picture, as time goes on, there's things that we don't yet see or understand. Also, during this time, we are influenced by Mars. Mars and Jupiter are impacting this full fire moon. And of course, Mars is a fire planet, all about motion, action, force, bravery, courage, very much a powerful, forceful energy. Mars is about creation and destruction. Mars is about moving forward in a very aggressive, violent way, letting nothing get in your path. Using the strength that you have, the fire that's inside to destroy any obstacles or barriers that might be in your way. So this is the energy of our full moon. This might be a wonderful time for you to start a project, or not start a project, finish a project with passion, with power. To bring something to a close that you've kind of been lagging on, or just to continue really pushing forward, pushing forward on something that is really important, because this Mars energy, right, with the energy to move forward in a very powerful way, is going to give you that strength you need to close out strong when the time is right. And the energy of Jupiter really being, again, expansive and looking at perspective is going to be able to give you some insight that you might not have had before. So this full moon is a flower moon. This is blooming. This is the fruit of your labor. This is really, again, in the full moon energy, this is coming to fruition, right? This is illuminated. This is full. This is blooming. The key word here is recognition. And this phase of the moon represents the successful completion of a creative project. It is the stage at which the rest of the world is invited to view the results of your labor. You receive appreciation for your performance or achieve the desired outcome of a project. When this card is in the current moon, the zodiac signs that I'll speak on will give you further interpretation. Moon in Aries. You are victorious. You are the victorious hero or warrior, and you have battled through against all odds and impressed others with your determination to win. You feel satisfied now and can sit back and relax for a while. Full moon in Leo. This is the sign, not full moon, just regular moon, if your moon is in Leo. This is the sign of the performer, and the full moon in Leo necessitates putting on a good show. It denotes receiving the acclaim of others. It's a time to rest on your laurel and bask in glory. Moon in Sagittarius. You are the traveler, explorer, or adventurer who has at last arrived at your destination. You have achieved a successful outcome. So you can see this energy is very much about receiving acclaim, achieving the desired outcome of a project, or being able to say that you have accomplished something and now you're able to rest on that accomplishment. Kali is the moon goddess for this particular moon phrase. Kali is very special to me. She is one of the goddesses that I identify with or feel connected to in a very strong way. This key phrase here is, if you fight, you will have to pay the price. Kali is known as the Black Mother. She's the Hindu goddess of nature. She's the ogress wife of the great god Shiva, and she stands balanced on one foot. Her face is stern, and a drop of blood can be seen between her dark eyebrows. She dances the ecstatic dance of victory that makes the earth quake. She has 4 arms, 2 emerging from each shoulder. In one hand, she carries a goblet, which signifies her drinking of the blood of the demon Raktavija. In the other hand, she holds a knife, and in the other, she holds severed heads of 2 of her victims. Her headdress is decorated with heads and serpents. She is fearsome, and her blue skin contrasts with the red sky behind her. We'll move into her myth. Kali Ma is one of the many personas of the wife of Shiva. This goddess assumed many guises in her work, the destruction of demons that challenged the gods. In the name of Parvati, she was perceived as a young, beautiful woman who spoke with her husband of love and lofty metaphysical subjects. As horrific Kali, she fought the chief of the army of demons, Raktavija. She struck him many times with her powerful weapons, but each drop of his blood that fell to the earth gave birth to 1,000 powerful giants. To stop the creation of giants, Kali had to drink every drop of Raktavija's blood until the chief demon was totally defeated. After conquering her adversary, she was so elated she danced a dance of joy so enthusiastically that the whole earth shook. The other gods pleaded with her husband to ask her to stop, but she was so crazed with the blood and the excitement, she was unaware that Shiva was trying to get her attention. In order to get her attention, Shiva laid down on the ground in front of her, and in her excitement, she trampled Shiva. She was distraught when she discovered the result of her madness and finally calmed down. Despite her horrific appearance, she is venerated and even is attractive to her followers. She represents both the creative and destructive energy. The cult of Kali is linked to the tantric practices that seek to control our sexual nature. When this card is drawn, it signals that you must pursue a policy of no mercy if you wish to achieve success. Action without inhibition is demanded at this time, and you will need to be ruthless in sticking to your plans. However, it's important to realize that if you gloat over the defeat of your opponent, then something you value will be lost. Kali is the most drastic of the black goddesses, and in her death and rebirth role, she seeks to destroy all that is thought to be a threat to survival. So Kali really is one of the manifestations of the god Parvati, and she is key in the death and rebirth cycle. This is the card Precipice. This represents the moon mansion, Jupiter and Mars. Here you can see Jupiter and Mars represented down here by the corner. This is a figure of Icarus. He's wearing a red band around his hair, and with a fixed look of determination on his face, he is about to launch himself from the edge of a cliff. The moon, tinged pale yellow, glows above his head, looking like a pale sun in the sky. This card is representative of a beam. Traditionally, the moon in this mansion was considered good for taming wild animals and for strengthening prisons. It was thought to compel a man to come to a certain place. The Chinese held that the moon in this mansion was good for promotion of trade, although there was some risk of loss. This card, with Jupiter and Mars conjoining in the Sagittarian moon mansion, promotes impetuous and enthusiastic action. Mars, traditionally impulsive and hot-headed, is energized and pushed to the limit by the expansive nature of optimistic Jupiter. This is a gambler's card. It indicates the making of a reckless decision, probably about something quite serious, which has been made with little consideration on the spur of the moment. If this card is drawn, someone concerned with the matter in question has a misguided belief in their own infallibility. The key phrase here is impetuosity, a reckless decision. If you know the myth about Icarus, he and his father were obsessed with flying. His father made wings of bird feathers and wax and, learned to fly. Icarus wanted to try it out. He was so, keen to get out there and fly that when he did, he flew much too close to the sun against his father's constant warning. Unfortunately, the sun melted the wax, the wings fell apart, and Icarus fell to his death into the ocean. This is really what is meant by this card meaning, right? This might compel a man to come to a certain place. Impetuosity, a reckless decision. Someone concerned with a certain matter in question has a misguided belief to their own infallibility. You might be thinking about something, you might be thinking about doing something, you might hold a certain belief, but that does not mean that you won't get out unscathed. Kali tells us that whatever it is that we're going after, we will have to fight for it. And when you go into battle, no one leaves the battleground without suffering some type of loss, mental, emotional, physical. And so again, with this Sagittarian energy, it is asking us to go big, right? Think on the larger perspective, gain all the details, roll things around in your mind, think about all of the options, think about all of the drawbacks, think about all of the positives before you make your choice. Because when you move forward in this Mars energy, it is going to be that very hard action, passion, fire, forceful energy. And if you move in this energy without taking into account other perspectives, Jupiter is going to expound on this Mars energy, and you could find yourself in a situation much like Icarus, having gone too far, too fast, and suffered the consequences. Because this does come at a full moon, the full moon is a great time to meditate on whatever it is that you have in your heart or in your mind. Whatever the heart of the matter is, whatever the question that you seek an answer to, whatever situation you find yourself into might be hidden, right? The light of the full moon will help illuminate the answers you seek. Sagittarius will give you the strength to see the bigger picture, be honest with yourself, and break the spell. And once you have that information clarified, you can go forward with power and action, and Jupiter will bless you with abundance in that area. So this has been the full moon in Sagittarius explanation. I like to do an explanation about the moon phase, the energies, of course use the moon oracle cards, and then I'll end this video and I'll come back with a full moon reading. I hope this has helped you understand this moon phase. I hope this has, yikes. I hope this has given you some guidance on how to work with this moon energy. We are coming up towards the end of the end of May. So we'll be in Gemini season for a little bit longer, and I will be putting up a magician and a lovers video because those both have to do with air and Gemini. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like this video, comment down below, let me know how you enjoyed it, what you thought, and subscribe to this channel. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye, Rhonda.